It's big, it's beautiful, and thank goodness it's kind of flexible. Good afternoon, welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm recently 4-piece variety of Wookie Triple XL, and I expect a like for this one for my old man back for lifting this very heavy case. 13.7 kilos before you put a component in. So do prepare to build it and then leave it on the table. But it is an enjoy the view kind of product. Asked and answered on that front as far as I'm concerned from Deepcool. And like I said, it's actually got really, really good flexibility. Anyway, let's go through what's in the box. So obviously you get a case, you get some nice extras, including the riser cable kit and the adapter for you to put the GPU vertically in the build. You also get a very, very nice little container. This little container is flipping awesome. It has all the compartments, all the different screw types pre-set up like that for you. And then in the main compartment over here, it's just big enough that you can put your PCI Express covers inside over there. So the excess covers, you aren't going to run away on you. Everything you need is going to be inside that little box, which we just love, don't we? You also get a removable hard drive rack on the back of the motherboard. You'll see, I will show you a rear view of that quickly. I have taken it out because we didn't need it in the build, but you can put 3 2.5-inch drives or 2 3.5-inch drives in the removable hard drive bay. But as I say, this is removable, so you don't need it in the build, then take it out. And I did the same thing with one of the rails because I just didn't need it on the top mount because I wanted to put the cooler as far forward as possible so that it could be away from the back, enhancing that dual chamber design, this being the first from Deepcool in their lineup. So we're going to go side by side now. So if you're looking at the empty case in front of you, you're going to notice a GPU sag bracket over there on the right hand side, and it works in both orientations, which is really nice. So if you want to have a vertical or horizontally mounted, the GPU sag bracket has been made so that it can work in either orientation. We love that. Good job, Deepcool. A big standout with this as well is that fan wall. 3 140s, and they're joined together into one big like 420mm rack over there, and then to actually adjust whether it's going in or out. I wish they had reversed flow and that it had an open face on it, but by default it's pushing out of the case. So I reversed it because otherwise there'd be no intake on this, and we want clean intake as well. We don't want an intake that's got a radiator or anything in between it because it's harder obviously for it to push through. So we flipped it around to do the tests. Everything you see was just shot from a look and feel perspective, and then I put it into this orientation to do the benchmarking. Then around the bottom, it's got, like I said, a dual rail setup, but you can see the outer rails are set up in a way that you can have one of these rails in position. It's exactly the same on top as well. So you can dimension it for 120mm or 140mm fans and then adjust the position of them. So you can have it further forward or further back, depending on the radiators and stuff you're going to use. And this has obviously been set up with an open loop type kit in mind, especially because they give you a set of rubber grommets on the bottom side of here so that you can mount your pump and your reservoir on top of those, and then they're not going to be rattled around, and it's going to take away the vibration from that as well. That's what I think they did, at least, or why I think they included those rubber grommets over there. Around the back, you're going to see the power supply mount, which you do have to remove in order to put the power supply in. It does leave a bit of a gap and a hole in here, so it doesn't fill out that entire space. And I think that's just for airflow considerations. And then when the back panel is on, you'll see there's mesh along the both edges like that. So the power supply can breathe nice and easily. And then obviously the fan wall that we've got on the left-hand side. The I/O is also nicely overkill. It's definitely been made with e-ATX type motherboards in mind because there's there's 2 sets of USB 3.0s, so, and a Type-C, and then a combi jack, so those 3-in-1s with the mic and the headset. You could probably just use headset on it as well. So yeah, it's got plenty of I/O. The little LED button, it can't be repurposed into a reset switch. It goes into a little controller at the bottom, which we don't need because I'm powering the fans and everything. I want to be able to control them from the motherboard. They do all daisy chain into one connector, and same thing with the RGB, is I want to be able to control it directly from the motherboard. So that's only if you need it that it's there, but the fan output is always going to be controlled by your motherboard. It actually comes out to a 4-pin, so you've got full control. I'd say until about 40% of the bottom end of the fan, like so from 0 to 40% is where the fans start turning, and then you can control it between that and 100% with your software applicably. And the fans are very quiet. There was no audio for me to really test or to show with that. So yeah, very, very easy. The side panels, on the other hand, they do attach just with the push pin type style. I've taken this one off just to show you that. So they do have push pin on the other side, but on the glass one, there is a screw point over here at the top, and then it's got padding around the edges as well. So you're not going to bash it into the case and break it, which is always nice. And then they've put steel around all of the edges, which we also like, because what also happens a lot I've seen with guys is when they're removing the side panel, sometimes they slip and then the edge of the glass hits and then it's just shattered. So that should help prevent that, which is kind of nice. But you're seeing that flexibility that I was talking about. Really, it's the idea here is to make the most flexible type of build humanly possible. And I think that they've pulled that off in a dual chamber design. The only thing physically that I would like to see them change is if you look in from the side over there, I've got a shot coming into the case. There really should be rubber grommets on these two exit areas over here. That's about the only thing I would see change. Grommets over there just makes it look that much neater. You can't see into the back where I've had to cable tie all of those cables because this is a non-modular power supply. So I did my best. I tried my hardest to make it look neat, but there's only so much you could do with a non-modular power supply. And I'm kind of glad that I test like that because it shows what I can and can't do. I was actually kind of missing this, if I'm being truthful. It would have been nice if that was sitting there above the power supply, because then I could have just shoved them in there and then you wouldn't really be able to see them through the side of the case. But we've got to, I think, all agree that it does look very nice. The CH780 is quite a clean presentation or presenting kind of product. But does it perform in line with expectations? And TLDR, sort of, kind of, yes. I tested these the tests are quite a ways apart, but I would say the ambient temperature was actually maybe slightly better today than it was when I did the open air testing. So, but we'll say it was about even, right? Let's call it, if you look at the 2 days in question, for Johannesburg, the temperatures were about the same overall between minimums and maximums. So yeah, you could probably say 1 or 2 degrees. Anyway, if you look at, well, there on your screen, you'll see that the ADATA results were pretty comparable. The one thing that stand out is in the case, it somehow hits higher core clocks, but the temperature was quite a lot higher, about 10 degrees higher. So that's kind of interesting from that perspective. I don't know how it hit higher core clocks with less temperature headroom. Very strange. But the Cinebench scores reflect that as well. I'd say the overall averages being slightly better on the open air, and it's only when I gave the fan 100% that they normalize, and it's going to be the exact same thing with the time spike stress test for the GPU. It did drop off by 0.8%. It's not a huge margin, but once again, once I maxed the fan wall out, the intake out, maxed that out, or at least from its input, then suddenly we're back within spitting distance and getting almost the exact same results. The big plus with that being the fan wall makes almost no noise. All of the noise I was getting was from the LT720 and from these fans. And that's why I don't have an audio test for you, because there was basically nothing to test. It makes such a quiet hum, that fan wall, you're almost not going to hear it. Now, noticeably as well, this case is not maxed out. I haven't put everything into it that I possibly can. There's a whole bottom shelf over here that could have 3 140s even pumping up into the case. And is that going to make a difference? Obviously, it's going to make a massive difference. A big plus with that as well is if that fan wall is pulling in and you've got this pulling in from the bottom, you're going to have an incredibly high amount of static pressure. So all of these other open holes are going to naturally have air coming out of them because you've got more going in than you do going out. And this case is perfectly set up to do that. Honestly, it's kind of average from Deepcool, which is weird. I was expecting, beside the riser cable, I think, look, honestly, the riser cable and the adapter to do the vertical mount, and the fact that the GPU sag bracket is there for that is incredible. But I feel like they missed a cue for the first time, really, in any of their products that I've tested, in not putting in a set of grommets over there. It's a premium case. How much do those grommets cost? Maybe $2 to $4 to put those in there, and they're just not available. They're just not there. And I'm like, why? It was so close to being perfect. The fan wall's a really nice idea. We'll have to see about the longevity of it. In general, Deepcool fans have a very long lifetime, And the fact it's just 4 screws on each corner to be able to flip it and change the orientation like that, literally, it was like seconds. I had it flipped around. I was like, man, that was nice and easy. And all the daisy chaining and all the interconnected systems that work with each other, because this is like pretty much an all Deepcool build now, as far as the finishing parts go. It was very nice. The ecosystem does work well together. You can see with the cables, I mean, there's actually plenty of slack and space over there as well. It's really nicely set up. And the fact that I can move the rails and stuff, that's a masterclass. I would still give it an 8 out of 10 because really just give me grommets, man, so that I can make it look neater. My OCD doesn't handle that very well. Anywho, that's all I've got for you on the CH780 from Deepcool. If you have enjoyed this review, please hit us up with a like and subscribe. And I will see you on the flip side.